my one that broke barriers. It was never intended for you to be staring at this barrier that has been obstructing your view for so long. Beneath the surface, what appears inconceivable to you is already in motion. The exact mountain that has made you question my strength is going to serve as a platform for my glory. When trust speaks, fear yields. I see you standing at the base of what appears to be immovable. Additionally, I want you to comprehend something that will alter the way you pray going ahead. This barrier isn't your issue. What has limited you is the way you view this obstacle. You've been pleading with me to assist you find a way around it, tunnel through it, or climb over it. However, none of those actions were what I wanted you to do. I was going to move it. Obstacles don't merely shudder when faith grows in your heart. They move. They move. In my hands, they become what they were always supposed to be. Family problems that have acted as barriers between people's hearts. Financial obligations that have seemed like crushing mountains, your tranquility, illness that has stood in the way of your future like a cliff face. My power, not yours, has been used to measure each of these. Not endurance, but eradication has been planned for each one. You have been expecting the wrong thing when you pray. You've been pleading for the strength to carry what I was going to take out. For something I intended to be temporary, you have been asking for endurance. I had already written the decree of victory while you were getting ready for a protracted war. This barrier that you observe is what I am going to move. Everyone who has witnessed your struggles will realize that your faith was not misplaced, and that your God is real when it moves. Allow me to explain the structure of a miracle, because heaven senses a pattern in what is about to happen in your life. First, there's the seemingly insurmountable circumstance that motivates you to meet your demands. Then there is the pressing season, during which your reliance on me grows and your faith is honed. The moment of release follows, where impossibility submits to my will and heaven reacts to earth. And lastly, there is the visible manifestation, the indisputable proof of my strength that silences all those who doubt my loyalty to you. After completing the first two stages, you are now at the beginning of the third. In you, this urgent season has completed its task. The concept of trust has evolved from theory to reality. Untested confidence has been validated. A character that was evolving has grown up. The person you were when you first came upon this mountain has changed. And what I am going to do through you required that metamorphosis. Feeling overpowered by impossibility was the first step towards becoming someone who breaks down barriers. Your spiritual muscle was growing with each desperate prayer you said. Every tear you shed in exasperation was fertilizing the ground for a breakthrough. Your spirit was being awakened every night as you lay awake, wondering whether anything would ever change, ready for paranormal assistance. I've been observing you build the trust necessary to overcome challenges. Deeper issues cannot be solved by shallow faith. Generational concerns cannot be resolved by surface-level trust. Circumstantial proof cannot be overturned by casual belief. However, the faith was built in the furnace of impossible. The delay has put the trust to the test, the conviction that has been fortified by hardship. Mountains are moved by that type of trust. You may not even be aware of it yet a prayer is currently growing in your spirit. It is not the careful, measured prayer you have been praying. It is not the prayer that makes a courteous and contrite request. The prayer has the power to command mountains. Instead of talking about the storm, prayer speaks to it. The issue of my authority coming through your voice is addressed in this prayer. Because it comes from the throne room, this prayer bears the weight of heaven. When you are not acting arrogantly, when you talk with this heavenly assurance, pray with this new authority, and give commands with this supernatural boldness. In a world that sorely needs obstacles to be removed, you are acting from the position I have given you as my child, my earthly representative, and the bearer of my name and power. Your authority as my kid is neither maintained by perfection or acquired via performance. Relationships give it, and relationships activate it. Faith. Your prayer life changes from pleading to ordering, from hoping to expecting, from requesting to declaring, when you recognize who you are to me, what my name means when uttered through your lips, and the power that supports every word you speak in faith. You will experience a change when you talk to that mountain and pray right now. There will be a change in the spiritual climate surrounding your circumstances. The weight that is applied to your optimism will increase. Your understanding will become rid of the confusion that has been obstructing it. Terror bends when trust speaks, therefore the terror that has whispered about permanence will run. You won't experience any psychological or emotional feelings. Even though your thoughts and feelings will react to it, you will experience a spiritual presence that shifts into place around your situation. When faith speaks, angels take their places. When faith demands it, spiritual forces come together. The whole structure of reality changes when faith proclaims my intent in the face of impossibility. Natural and spiritual realms function according to distinct principles. Bigger is stronger in the natural world. Faith renders size meaningless in the spiritual realm. Older is more established in the natural world. My word renders age worthless in the spiritual realm. Impossible in the natural world denotes that something cannot occur. In the spiritual realm, impossible refers to the need for my intervention, which faith always has access to. Every tear you shed while gazing at it, the mountain has been gathered. Every restless night you've had pondering whether or not things would ever change has been documented. I have seen every time you have felt alone in the shadow of something that appeared too huge for you to conquer. I haven't been away from your battle. I've been getting ready for the time when my strength and faith will come together to move what man refers to as immovable. You weren't just crying because you were in pain. They were liquid prayers, requests that touched my heart, even if you was at a loss for words. There was more to your restless evenings than just anxiety. Your spirit was being molded for a breakthrough throughout those hours. Your moments of loneliness were not desertion when your ability to receive miracles was being expanded. They were private appointments. There were moments when I taught you to look for me in the quiet. Your adversary desired to symbolize defeat with tears. However, I turned them into seeds of success. He wanted you to be exhausted by sleepless nights. However, I utilized them to enhance your spiritual sensitivity. He desired moments of solitude to make you feel deserted. However, I use them to help you hear my voice when others can't. The mountain in your health that the physicians have identified, measured, and talked about. The one that has brought fear into torques and anxiety into waiting rooms, there's an expiration date on that mountain. Not because treatments or medicine will advance, though they may, but rather because I am the God who made your body, and I know precisely what must happen to restore what appears to be irreparably destroyed. The cells that seem to be betraying you are going to recall who produced them and why. I created your body to serve as a temple, a place for my spirit to reside, and a means of showcasing my splendor on earth. My healing power was included into every system. My life flowed through each organ as it was created. My DNA of wholeness was etched into the very fabric of each cell. What appears to be a problem to medical professionals will react to the voice of the one who created the initial design. You don't need to comprehend how healing works for it to come to you. It depends on how much you trust the person who makes it happen. To obtain the product, you don't have to understand the procedure. To appreciate the outcome, you don't need to describe the process. All you have to do is have faith that the same God who talked your body into existence can also speak restoration into any portion of it that has lost its purpose. When trust speaks, fear yields. The signs that have been alerting people to their limitations are ready to speak in a whisper about recovery. The reports that have identified the problems are set to give way to those that identify the improvements I am making. Your body isn't an adversary. It had been anticipating your impending words. The word of confidence that brings my will into your physical existence and links heaven and earth. There is more to healing than just physical healing. Spiritual insight is what it is. You will feel my strength in a very intimate and personal way. Because you'll never have the same faith. I am going to touch the exact spot that hurts you. Beyond only healing your body, that touch will accomplish more. It will restore your comprehension of my identity and my affection for you. I do more than just mend what was damaged when I heal your body. I am showing you what my love for you has always been. Every repaired cell proclaims my loyalty. Every well-functioning mechanism declares my power. My existence is announced by every pain that goes away. Your recovery turns into a living, breathing proof that I am still the God who mends shattered things, the mountain in your interpersonal connections. The one who has prevented you from being with the person you love. The one that has been constructed piece by miscommunications, pain, and unsaid disappointments. That mountain is not as sturdy as it seems. Mountains can be moved more quickly by forgiveness than by explosives. Love has the power to break down barriers that appear to be unbreakable. When you talk about life rather than mountains don't simply move, they vanish. Death, connection rather than separation, hope rather than despair. Because they involve two hearts, two wills, and two histories of suffering and protection. Relationships are the most complicated mountains. However, divine intervention makes things simple that are difficult for humans to comprehend. Even the roughest heart can be softened by me. Even the most closed minds can be opened by me. Even the darkest wound can be healed by me. The most damaged trust can be repaired by me. Relationship-wise, I don't merely alter the situation. I alter people's hearts. Someone whose heart has appeared like stone to you, and for whom you have been praying has wounds that account for their walls. You might not comprehend the shield they have created around pain. However, I witness every wound that taught them to keep their hearts safe. I concurrently mend the relationship on both ends when I remove this obstacle between you and them. I am opening your eyes to what I have already accomplished in the spiritual sphere with regard to your relationships. In ways you cannot yet see, my spirit has softened the person who has appeared hardened toward you. I have prepared the seemingly difficult talk in ways you do not yet comprehend. My love has organized the reconciliation that has been unattainable in ways you could not have predicted. The work I have been doing in their hearts has been just as deliberate as the work I have been doing in yours. They have been learning to hear me in their struggles, while you have been learning to trust me in their confusion. They have been becoming more understanding while you have been becoming more patient. They have been growing in humility while you have been growing in forgiving. The bridge is going to join, and we have been prepping both ends. Because the restoration is based on deeper roots, it is sweeter than the first connection when relationship barriers are removed. Compared to the relationship that existed prior to breakdown, the relationship that results from breakthrough is stronger because it has been proved and tested. Because it chooses to fight rather than run, love that overcomes barriers is more significant than love that has never encountered difficulties. Every choice you make has been clouded by the financial mountain. My provision, not your restrictions, has measured every goal you dare to imagine and every plan you attempt to create for your future. Based on what you can see, you have been making calculations. Based on what I have already shared, I have begun making calculations in heavenly realms for you. Your performance has no bearing on your breakthrough. It depends on how faithful I am. Furthermore, my loyalty is constant. The resources you require have not been hard to come by. They have acted strategically. You don't deserve the provision I have withheld from you. Because I know just when you need it to arrive for maximum impact, I have placed the provision around you. You will receive more than simply financial relief as a blessing. It is proof from God that I am the God who provides for my kids in a way that demonstrates my goodness. In my children's hands, money is more than just a means of exchange. It is a transformational tool. It is more than just resources for subsistence. It is a provision for donation. For now, it goes beyond security. It seeds for the future. Moving financial mountains involves more than simply problem solving. I am putting my kids in a position to help others who are facing similar challenges. Opportunities that appeared to be closed are ready to reveal itself in ways that are obvious. Every barrier was moved by my hand. The door that looked locked is going to open so effortlessly that everyone around you will know it wasn't you. Through methods that only I could have planned, the resource that has seemed out of your reach is going to become yours. Financial barriers not only resolve issues but also establish platforms. Your comfort is not the only reason for the abundance that is on its way. It is for the purpose of your calling. I am setting you up to be a benefit to those who are in your shoes. Their hope is your breakthrough. Their faith is formed by your testimony. Your miracle serves as a call to faith. Because I qualify who I call, promotions that previously looked unattainable due to your lack of specific qualifications are going to materialize. Because I am the source of all resources, the business plan that looked too risky, because you don't have enough money, is going to succeed. Because I am connected to everything that matters, the dream that looked too huge because you didn't have the necessary connections is about to come true. When trust speaks, fear yields when you use the power I have granted you to address your financial mountain. When, rather than practicing your issues, you declare my promises over your provision. When you give me credit for the breakthrough before you realize it. This barrier shifts rather than pleading with me to grant it. Not because you deserved it, worked hard enough, or earned it, but due to the fact that I keep my word, which is yes over your life. You won't be able to claim credit for the provision that comes to you. The timing will be too ideal, the sources will be too surprising, the quantities will be excessively large, techniques will be overly inventive. Everyone who sees it will understand that your God is the one who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and who takes pleasure in bestowing blessings on his children that serve as living examples of his goodness. Hope and faith are not the same thing. Additionally, I am calling you to trust right now. Hope is lovely, yet it longs for the future. Faith has a definite outlook on the future. Hope prays for possibility, saying maybe someday. Faith responds, I believe you right now. Faith prays with anticipation. Faith says you will. Hope asks if you might. Hope is not active. Faith is active. Hope is waiting for something to occur. Until something happens, faith speaks. Hope questions whether God will take action. Faith is aware that God has already performed and communicated the heavenly reality into the earthly situation. Emotional stability depends on hope. However, moving mountains requires trust. Trust that overcomes barriers is neither created by optimistic thinking or developed via emotional exertion. When you hear my voice expressing truth over your impossible, you are given such trust. This barrier moves when I say it will. Healing occurs when I say it will. When I state that restoration is guaranteed, restoration appears. Breakthrough happens when I say it is scheduled. My opinions about your situation are not recommendations. It is mandated. When trust speaks, fear yields. The absence of doubt does not equate to trust. The presence of confidence that outweighs uncertainty is called trust. Belief does not mean that all questions are answered. Belief is the assurance that moves forward despite unresolved issues. Being confident does not mean that all barriers are eliminated. The conviction that challenges will turn into opportunities when they come across the God who breaks down walls. I am urging you to exercise trust, but it's not blind faith that disregards facts. Spiritual trust is the ability to perceive a deeper reality than what is immediately apparent. Naive trust does not deny the existence of issues. It is a mature trust that admits the existence of issues but asserts that they are transient when they come into contact with the everlasting God. You are not the same person who began gazing at that peak years or months ago. This barrier's pressure has caused you to do something not anticipate. Your trust has grown stronger than it was previously. Your relationship with me now has depth that shallow waters could never provide. Easy seasons could never teach you to trust me the way it has. You were never at odds with the mountain. It was your instructor. Characters that are made in the furnace of impossibility are more resilient than those that grow in ease. Long-term delays are a better test of trust than never having to wait. Love that has developed in love, which has only experienced blessings, is not as deep as the soil of pain. You've developed into someone who can bear the burden of a miracle without being overcome by the obligation to testify. Your spiritual health has been enhanced by each challenging day. Your ability to appreciate serenity has grown with each overwhelming moment. Your perseverance muscle has grown stronger each time you've wanted to give up but decided to keep going. Your spiritual portfolio has grown with each prayer you said when you wanted to give up. The experiences you have had do not make you weaker. The period for training is past, yet you are stronger. It's time for the performance. This barrier is about to be addressed by the trust that was developed in its shadow. There will soon be a power demonstration of the strength that was created under duress. A character that was developed through adversity is going to be shown via triumph. Because this moment was created just for the person you have become, you are prepared for it. Every aspect of your there has been deliberate preparation. There was a reason for each delay. Your ability to be joyful grew with each tear. Your ability to walk by faith was increased by each question. Your admiration for otherworldly tranquility grew with each overwhelming moment. You were ready for the taste of victory after every day of seeming defeat. You were not unintentionally prepared. You were ready tactically. Your breakthrough doesn't happen at random, it's planned. I have been setting up situations, scheduling meetings, and placing individuals, and setting up opportunities, so that everything you need for the upcoming season is available when your roadblock shifts. Your breakthrough is more than just a solution to your issue. It's the start of your mission. Something in the spiritual realm responds when you walk with firmness and fullness of power, pray with conviction in this time, and speak with the assurance that I will answer. Your breakthrough's designated angels assume their places. The powers of heaven cooperate with your words of faith. Because fear yields when trust speaks, the same power that raised Jesus from the dead is activated in your circumstance. The force that whispers breakthrough into impossibility is the same power that speaks light into darkness. The voice that tells your roadblock to move is the same voice that told the Red Sea to split. The same authority that brought Lazarus back to life may bring your situation back to life. Speaking with trust allows you to communicate with the voice of creation itself. Angels are on standby awaiting the sound of faith addressing the mountains. They have been trained for your breakthrough, allocated to your case, and given the power to carry out heaven's purpose in your earthly situation. Angels take action when trust talks, heaven moves at the command of faith, earth transforms when faith declares. Sadness and discouragement have no place in your heart anymore. These feelings have a purpose in helping you reach this decision-making point. However, they are not permitted at the location where you are leaving. Doubt cannot thrive in an environment where challenges are present. Fear cannot flourish in an atmosphere where miracles occur. You are entering a realm outside the realm of the natural world. You are not merely moving from a problem to a solution. It transitions from the natural to the supernatural. You are transitioning from using human wisdom to using revelation from God. You are moving from using your own strength to using mind strength. You are transforming from a victim of your circumstances to a conqueror of impossibility. In order to make this shift, you must give up some of the ways of thinking that have prevented you from becoming empowered over this obstacle. You need to start viewing yourself as equipped rather than overwhelmed. You need to act powerful instead of helpless. You need to start proclaiming success instead of voicing failure. When trust speaks, fear yields. I made you to spend your life in triumph rather than failure. I intended for you to work with strength rather than weakness. Instead of being crushed by circumstances, I created you to show off my splendor. Your tears were not in vain. They irrigated the area where your obstacle, moving trust, was established. Your suffering wasn't in vain. In your character, it was the pressure that turned coal into diamond. You have benefited from every encounter that appeared to work against you. Every obstacle served as a springboard for success. Every door that is closed was getting ready for the appropriate door to open. Every no you got served to shield you from the most important yes. Every hold up was an opportunity for growth. Every setback served as a catalyst for a divine appointment. Your adversary intended for you to be defeated by your difficulty, but I have utilized it to help you grow. He intended for your struggle to undermine your trust, but I have strengthened it instead. He intended for your suffering to keep you away from me. However, I have drawn you nearer to me by taking advantage of your suffering. I have collaborated for good on what the enemy planned for ill. There is more to the light that is about to shine on your circumstances than just dawn. Your impossible becoming God's potential is the revelation of God's glory. People won't be able to explain your life's events through human effort or natural processes. When they see this barrier that everyone could see abruptly disappear, they will have to admit that impediments are moved by your God. Fear, when trust speaks, it bows. Your miracle will serve as a reminder to your generation that I am still the all-powerful God. Your breakthrough will serve as a reminder to everyone in attendance that miracles still occur. Prayer is still effective, and faith is still important. Others will be encouraged to bring their mountains to this barrier mover by your mountain shifting. Your innovation will have an impact on people you might never meet. Your obstacle, moving tail, will spread to locations you might never go there. Prayers you would never hear will be inspired by your testimony of faith. This miracle is not being given to you exclusively. You are getting it on behalf of everyone who needs proof that God continues to remove barriers for those who approach them with confidence. I am expanding your spiritual awareness so you may understand something that will transform your self-perception and sense of purpose. This miracle is not only for you. This miracle is demonstrated by you. Future generations will be fortunate as a result of your faith. It's not just you who will benefit from your breakthrough. It is for everyone who needs to see that when faith truly speaks, mountains truly do move. The tale of how God overcame your challenge will be told to the children who follow you, and their faith will be solidified before their mountains ever materialize. Because they witnessed authority in action in your circumstances, the young people who observe your life will learn to pray with authority. Believers who are facing their own challenges will find strength in your affirmation that God continues to do what God has always done. What you leave behind after you pass away is only one aspect of your legacy. What you do while you are alive is your legacy. Your current level of faith serves as the basis for others' future growth. Through your prayers, you move a mountain, and others use it as a road to overcome their own obstacles. When people witness how God reacts to faith, your breakthrough becomes their breakthrough. Your attitude is important because it's the soil on which faith flourishes or perishes. The speed and extent at which this barrier is removed depends on your beliefs. When you nurture your doubts with anxiety rather than feeding your thoughts with my words, when you prioritize life over death in your circumstances, instead of whining about what you can see right now, thank me for what you can't see yet. Mountains cannot withstand the momentum that faith creates. Your hurdle is either strengthened or moved by every word you say. Every idea you have either strengthens your issues or strengthens your faith. Every feeling you have that makes you more confident or makes you less determined. The environment of your heart influences how rapidly heaven can move on earth. Therefore, you have more control over the speed of your breakthrough than you may think. Your words are like seeds that bear fruit. You sow the seeds of permanence when you describe your challenge as enduring. You sow the seeds of transformation when you describe your challenge as transient. When you talk to your by trusting an impediment, you sow the seeds of miraculous intervention. When trust speaks, fear yields. Thus express trust and watch fear run away. You don't need to spend years or decades developing the anointing on your life to move mountains. As you hear these words, I am releasing it. As you receive this message, your spirit is being ignited with the power to speak to impossibility and witness it bow to possibility. The power that has lain dormant within you since you were unaware that you possessed it is awakened, because when trust speaks, fear yields. Because every believer has my spirit, every believer has the ability to break down barriers. Your chaos-ringing order is overseen by the same spirit that hovered over the waters at creation. You are anointed for success by the same spirit that anointed Jesus for ministry. Your dead circumstances are brought back to life by the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead. You are not helpless. You are not defenseless. There is yet hope for you. Because I reside within you, you possess great power. The strength that resides inside you don't need to be flawless. Your faith activates it. Your performance does not release it. Your trust allows you to access it. Your goodness does not deserve it. It comes from my grace. To move mountains, you don't need to be worthy. All you need to do is have faith that the person residing within you is deserving and capable of influencing them. The tenacity of your mountain is not unusual. I've moved mountains before, and I'll do it once more. Your mountain is not unique in its dimensions. I have overcome greater challenges with less faith than you currently possess. No matter how long your mountain has been there, it is not permanent. I am the God who transforms everything, even seemingly insurmountable circumstances that have outlived their welcome in your life. David saw a mountain that needed to be moved as he turned to meet Goliath. Moses saw a mountain that needed to be parted as he turned to face the Red Sea. Joshua turned to Jericho and found walls that needed to be taken down. Gideon confronted an army and saw obstacles that had to be overcome. Daniel saw death that needed to be vanquished as he confronted a den. One thing united them all. Their hurdles moved when they trusted their mountains. The object of faith rather than the magnitude of faith is what unites all barrier-breaking miracles. Obstacles are moved by a small faith in a large God. Nothing happens when people have a lot of confidence in minor gods. Your level of faith is not the problem. The question is whether you believe in the one who is sufficient. I am sufficient to overcome your challenge. No matter how large it, the amazing things that are going to happen around you will be so obviously supernatural that you will realize how much you mean to me, regardless of how long it has been there. You will be able to tell that I have been preparing for this moment, since before this obstacle even emerged, since the timing will be so ideal. You will be able to identify my hand in every detail, because of how delicate yet thorough the method will be. You won't ever question my love for you again, since the outcome will be so profound. When this obstacle shifts, you will not only be relieved, you will be given revelation. You won't only receive a resolution, you will have a relationship. Change won't be the only thing you encounter, you will get to know me. Removing barriers is only one aspect of the miracle. The revelation of love is the miracle. Every mountain I move for you is a superpowered love letter. Because urgent need breeds desperate dependency, the intimacy that grows between us during barrier breaking seasons is deeper than that which occurs during easy seasons. Moreover, intimate relationship is created by desperate dependency. You'll get to know me in ways you've never experienced before, as the God who loves you enough to move mountains, not merely the God who has the power to do so. In my domain, there are simply preparation times and no delays. My heart is filled with divine timing and no denials. My plans are full of developments that serve objectives you haven't yet seen, but no disappointments. You will realize that every day you waited was a day I worked when this barrier moves, which it will. Each and every I was manipulating events for your benefit at the very moment you were wondering. You will benefit from the patience you have developed while waiting. You will be strengthened in blessings by the perseverance you have built through hardship. You will remain rooted in prosperity because of the humility you have acquired during hardship. You will remain in power because of the reliance on me you have developed in weakness. There has been no waste, it has all been preparation. Breakthroughs frequently occur when abruptly, despite the fact that it was prepared gradually. When trust speaks, the mountain that took years to build can be moved in a matter of seconds. When heaven steps in, the slow, developing issue can be resolved swiftly. When the God of abrupt falsehoods decides it's time for your obstacle to relocate, the seemingly permanent circumstance might change in an instant. When trust speaks, fear yields. Faith is not a loud, desperate, or frenzied voice. The voice of faith is certain, serene, and full of my presence. When you talk, you speak with the same authority that calls life out of death and light out of darkness. When you have faith, speaking with trust allows you to collaborate with the same force that created everything, both visible and invisible. Trust uses the past tense while discussing future events because, in my view, time is always in the present tense. Because belief understands that my promise is only as good as its fulfillment, belief expresses gratitude before receiving. Before the fight, confidence declares victory because it knows that the fight had already been won. Obstacles are moved by trust because trust supports the obstacle mover. It's not difficult to move hurdles with trust. It is a straightforward reliance on a complicated God. It is not an advanced theology. It is naive faith in a heavenly Father. It's not a religious act. Relational dependence is what it is. Barriers are broken down by your simplicity rather than your maturity. When you trust me the way a kid trusts a loving parent. From now on, when you wake up every day, you won't see an immovable barrier the next time you encounter this challenge. There will be a chance for God's strength to be made clear. You will not feel overwhelmed by the impossibility. The prospect will excite you. The length of time it has taken won't deter you. When heaven becomes involved, you will be surprised at how rapidly things can change. The mountain that has caused you the most anxiety is going to become your biggest source of gratitude. The issue that has made you doubt, my love is going to make you rejoice in my constancy. Because fear bows when trust speaks, the circumstance that has made you feel ignored is going to make you feel selected, valued, and especially blessed by the God who moves obstacles. I am going to use my power on your behalf in front of everyone who has witnessed you struggle with this mountain. Your testimony will soon be heard by every voice that has doubted your faith. The proof of my faithfulness to you will soon put an end to any doubts that have been voiced affection for you. Your mountain moving will serve as a reminder to everyone that I still go above and beyond for the people I care about. The hardship that preceded your obstacle moving will make the celebration that comes after it sweeter. The suffering that preceded it will make the happiness more profound. Because of the struggle that led to the win, it will have greater significance. You won't simply be relieved that this obstacle has been removed. You will be appreciative of the lessons this obstacle taught you. I adore you with an eternal love that is unaffected by the magnitude of your challenge, the duration of your wait, or the intensity of your battle. The power that overcomes challenges, heals bodies, mends relationships, and supplies resources is my love for you. My affection for you is not sentimental or theoretical. When power meets trust, that sees impossibilities as only opportunities for me to show who I am, it transforms reality. The lack of mountains does not reflect how much I adore you, your existence. My being with you is a measure of my affection for you. I let mountains in your life because I love you enough to utilize them as platforms for showcasing my glory through your faith. Not because I love you less. As you confront these obstacles and my power works through you as they move. Every mountain in your life has a purpose and every purpose is beneficial to you. You learn to look up from mountains. Mountains compel you to have faith. You have to pray in the mountains. The mountains grow in your faith. My power is revealed by mountains. This barrier moves once its function has been fulfilled. Your mountain has finished its task. When trust speaks, fear yields. It's barrier breaking season. It's time for you to share your faith. It's your day to receive a miracle. See what happens. If you start ordering this barrier to move in my name instead of asking me to help you manage it. See what happens when trust speaks and fear bows. The mountains that have obscured your happiness are going to be moved. We are going to remove the barriers that have prevented you from seeing my goodness. My possibilities are about to overtake the impossibilities that have constrained your expectations. You are entering a time when things that appeared to be permanent turn out to be transient. What was once fixed becomes pliable, and what appeared unattainable turns out to be inevitable. Your life is about to experience a supernatural acceleration that will compensate for all of the delays you have endured. The favor of God that is being bestowed upon you will make up for all of your disadvantages. Everything you believed was lost will be restored by the miraculous provision that is coming your way, along with blessings you never would have imagined. Keep this moment in mind. Keep these words in mind. As you read this message, keep in mind the sensation of faith rising in your heart. You will remember this moment as the turning point when this barrier moves, and it will. Not because of what you did, but rather because of what I did when power and faith came together. In the gap between my capacity and your impossibility. The mountain that has been in front of you is going to serve as your foundation. The barrier that has prevented you from moving forward is going to serve as a platform for your advancement. The issue that has been stressing you out is going to become your strength. What has been working against you is about to work in your favor because trust speaks when fear does, and trust is speaking right now to help you overcome your problem. Let me address this barrier in particular. As you hear these words, you are holding them in your heart that burden you experience when considering your future. When you think about your situation, you feel the weight in your chest. I am aware of the name of the peak. It can be referred to as disease, loneliness, financial hardship, relationship breakup, despair, addiction, failure, or rejection. Both its name and nature are familiar to me. And right now, I am telling you that your life's days are running out. This barrier of chronic disease has caused you to feel as like your body is betraying you, stealing your energy and clouding your hope, making you feel like a burden to those you love, and a shell of the person you once were. When the wonderful doctor talks healing over his child, this barrier is going to find out what happens. Every cell that has forgotten its function is on the verge of recalling its original design. Every malfunctioning system is going to realign using your body's original blueprint from me. You long for the seemingly unattainable remedy while taking drugs that hardly control your symptoms. You make appointments for maintenance but not restoration. While friends and family attempt to comprehend a reality they have never experienced, you express your feelings to them. However, I also see things that the medical professionals do not. I see healing coming your way like a dammed river about to burst through every barrier. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk to your body with the power IV granted you. Order each rouge cell to resume its normal operation. Declare my life to be above all lifeless places. I am grateful for the healing that is coursing through your veins. Even when you re-asleep, when you can't feel it functioning, and even when the symptoms continue to scream their falsehoods about permanency. This wall of strained connections that has separated you from those who used to make your life happier, that has erected barriers where bridges previously existed, and that has transformed love into communication and longing into silence. Your connections are not ultimately controlled by this barrier. In hardened hearts, forgiveness is already beginning to flow. Confusion is giving way to understanding. In wounded spirits, love is growing. As you lie awake, you worry of discussions that didn't work out and statements you can't take back. When you look at pictures of better times, you wonder if they will ever come again. You practice your response if you were handed give yourself another chance and work on forgiving hurts that are still fresh. But I can see things you can't. I see people's feelings for you softening. I see pride crumbling. In partnerships that appear to be dead but are actually merely sleeping, I watch my spirit moving. You won't believe how close the phone call you've been waiting for is. You cannot reach the hearts that are preparing the dialogue that will end years of miscommunication. However, I am able to touch. As I work, the seemingly unattainable reconciliation is becoming inevitable. Concurrently in both your and their hearts, setting them up for a reunion that will be richer since it was won by forgiveness rather than easily taken for granted. When trust speaks, fear yields. Give blessings to relationships that seem burdensome right now. In cases of separation, declare restoration. I am grateful for the healing taking place in hearts that you are unable to see. However, I am working inside. It's time to move your relational mountain. And when it happens, the love that results will be more powerful than what was lost, because grace, not only the shifting sand of feeling, will serve as its foundation. This financial pressure barrier has made every choice seem constrained by a lack of resources. Dreams and plans have been canceled as a result. Your relationships and your home have been strained as a result. You feel like you're constantly one catastrophe away from collapsing because of that. This barrier has been weighed against my offerings and determined to be insufficient to thwart my plans for your future. You compute and recalculate, attempting to reconcile numbers that in natural mathematics just do not add up. You give up enjoyable things in order to pay for necessities. You put in more effort and work longer hours, but you feel like you're slipping behind. Instead of considering what would be best, you base your judgments on what you can afford. Furthermore, I want you to understand that this period of financial hardship is not your permanent residence. You won't only get what you need from the breakthrough that is on its way. It will surpass your expectations. The seemingly closed opportunity, since I am your source, the capital that you lack is going to open. I qualify whomever I call. Thus the promotion that seems unattainable due to your qualifications is about to happen. My blessing makes rich and adds no pain. Therefore the concept that seemed too hazardous due to financial constraints is going to bloom. I am closing doors that no man can open and opening doors that no man can close. I am setting up divine meetings between you and others who hold the secrets to your next level. I am manipulating coincidences. Things are too timely to be explained by chance and too perfect to be described by luck. Your financial mountain won't simply go away. It will serve as the foundation for the prosperous life I have always planned for you. When trust speaks, dear bows, choose richness over scarcity. Declare wealth to be superior to poverty. I am grateful for the provision that is already en route to you via unimagined routes. Instead of making calculations based on what you can see, start making expectations based on what I am capable of. Your monetary mountain is going to serve as your financial cornerstone. This loneliness barrier has caused you to feel alone even when you are surrounded by people and invisible in crowds. That has persuaded you that you are insufficient for some people and excessive for others. That has caused you to wonder if you would ever find your tribe, or if anyone really gets you. Your future is not defined by this challenge. There will be a connection soon. It's getting closer to understanding. I am preparing the connections that will feel like home hand. You feel disconnected while you browse social media, observing the connections of others. You wake up to emptiness after going to bed in silence. You engage in superficial chats while yearning for more in-depth exchanges and informal encounters while yearning for closeness. However, I can also see how loneliness has helped you in ways that a multitude could never. You and I now have a closer relationship as a result. It has taught you to discover who you are in my love, not in the acceptance of others. The individuals who will become the identical process that is preparing you is also preparing your closest pals. Authentic connection is becoming more important to them than convenient association. They are growing in their ability to form the kind of friendship you provide, and in their desire to form the kind of connection you can. Because the connection has been developing in the spiritual sphere long before it shows up in the physical world, it will feel instantaneous when you meet them. Your loneliness is going to serve as a springboard for genuine community. People weary of shallowness will be drawn to the depth you have cultivated in isolation. Those who are looking for the truth will be drawn to the wisdom you have acquired in solitude. Those that respect self-sufficiency will be motivated by the power you have developed in independence. But you will also provide dependency. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk about connection rather than loneliness. Prioritize companionship before loneliness. I am grateful for the connections that are already being made with you. Inspired by the person you've grown into throughout the years of spending time with me alone, your loneliness mountain is about to transform into a testament to your sense of community. The mountain of addiction that has rendered you helpless in the face of drugs or habits that once helped you, but now control you. This has led to regret about repeated failures and embarrassment about weakness that has persuaded you that you are irreparably damaged and will always let others down. That mountain is going to meet the force that releases all prisoners and breaks all chains. You attempt to give up in your own power and fall short in your own shortcomings. You make agreements that break under duress and promises you can't fulfill. You love the thing that is ruining you and despise the thing you are powerless to stop. However, I also see what shame refuses to acknowledge and what addiction cannot see. I see my daughter and son, my cherished children who are strong enough to live freely and worthy of dying for. The strength that is greater than all cravings is about to confront the craving that feels stronger than your will. The behavior that appears unbreakable is about to come into contact with the force that ends all forms of slavery. The seemingly never-ending cycle is about to be broken by a supernatural intervention that forges new brain pathways, patterns, and desires. Freedom is more than just not being addicted. The existence of purpose is freedom. I will bring you to your intended purpose once I have freed you from the things that have been destroying you. Won't be empty after your deliverance. It will give you a sense of purpose that makes the fleeting joy of addiction insignificant in contrast to the enduring fulfillment of destiny. You will make such a full recovery that you will serve as an example for those who think they are too far gone to be saved. Everyone who said you will never change will be silenced by how drastically you change. Your independence will be so genuine that it will give hope to many who have given up on ever being free. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk about freedom rather than servitude. Declare freedom from imprisonment. Give thanks to me for the deliverance that is coming your way like a powerful river, washing away all that has imprisoned you. Your addiction mountain is going to give you the power to assist others in achieving the same level of freedom. Your world has been painted in hues of gray by a mountain of despair. Your happiness and hope have been robbed by that has given you the impression that you are living underwater, where everything is muffled, and it takes a lot of work to move. That mountain is going to find out what happens when the darkness that has enveloped your soul is illuminated by my presence. I watch you dealing with ideas that no one else would comprehend, carrying burdens that no one else can feel, and fighting wars that no one else can see. I see you going through motions while feeling hollow and putting on brave faces while dying inside. You seem to want to care but are numb, and you want to hope but are anticipating disappointment. However, I also see what darkness cannot eradicate and what melancholy cannot take. I see the light that I put inside of you and that no situation can ever put out. There is more to the mending that is occurring in your thoughts and feelings than merely a reduction in burdens. Understanding will be surpassed by the emergence of peace. It won't be only the reappearance of emotion, it will be the reinstatement of hope. It will be more than just coping skills, it will be the ability to prosper. You don't have to deal with depression throughout your life. You are meant to triumph over it entirely. The drugs that have stabilized you have done what they were supposed to. However, they were never intended to be your long-term fix. You have the tools to make a breakthrough, thanks to the therapy you received. However, it was never intended to be your exclusive means of recovery. My gift to you has been the networks of support that have sustained you. However, they served as training for the time when you carry those who are having trouble where you have been. Your brain's chemical equilibrium is being restored by the same force that produced it. The same authority that created your ability to think is rewiring thought patterns that have kept you stuck in negative cycles. The same love that gave you the capacity to feel is reviving emotional reactions that darkness had numbed. You not damaged, you getting better. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk about brightness instead of gloom. Declare happiness instead of sadness. Thank you for the mental and emotional healing that is taking place, even though you are not yet able to experience it. Your mountain of despair is going to become your story of deliverance, illuminating the path for those who are in the dark. A mountain of fear that has delayed your goals and stifled your desires. You are now terrified of both failing and succeeding as a result. Fear of being harmed, fear of healing, fear of loneliness, fear of being recognized. That mountain will soon come into contact with the perfect love that drives out all fear and replaces worry with worship, dread with anticipation, and anxiety with serenity. I observe that you are making choices based more on potential problems than potential solutions. When IV invited you to take a risk in faith, I see you being cautious. I see you avoiding true joy while shielding yourself from possible harm. I see you ignoring opportunities that are in front of you, while being ready for catastrophes that will never occur. However, I also see bravery developing in your soul as your heart is freed from fear. The fear that has been ruling you is not as strong as the trust that is growing inside of you. The doubt that has been overwhelming you is not as strong as the confidence I am instilling in you. The tension that has been robbing you of your calm is not as deep as the trust that is growing between us. You are becoming fearless because you sense my presence more than your fear, not because you don't feel any dread at all. In your life, fear has been a robber and a liar. Dream theft, destroying visions before they could be realized and before they could be born. However, the period of fear in your life is coming to an end. It is being replaced by courage. Faith is assuming its role. Trust is standing up for itself. The life you were meant to live is about to begin. The goals you were meant to accomplish and the aspirations you were intended to realize. You're going to have to take the risks you've been scared to take. The discussions you have been reluctant to conduct will soon become the relationships that transform your life. Your future will be shaped by the dreams you have been scared to pursue. In your life, fear has been a mountain, but when trust speaks, barriers come down. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk bravery instead of cowardice. Declare that you are more confident than anxious. Thank you for the courageous spirit I am releasing in you, fearless heart I am giving you, and the self-assured faith I am building inside you. Your fear barrier will soon become the cornerstone of your self-assurance. The mountain of shame that has persuaded you that you are ineligible for the future because of your past. Even though I said you were clean, that has made you feel unclean, that has spoken falsehoods about your value. That mountain is about to collapse beneath the weight of my unwavering acceptance of who you are in me, and my unconditional love, once I have declared your worth. I see you carrying remorse for decisions you wish you could change and reliving situations you wish you could forget. Rather than my best intentions, I see you defining yourself by your worst choices for the rest of your life. I see you covering aspects of your past that I want to turn into ministry and concealing elements of your tale that I want to share as testimony. But I am not the source of shame, and I am not giving you guilt as a present. Jesus' blood did more than only atone for your sins. Your sin was eliminated. It did more than merely cover up your guilt. It took away your guilt. It did more than just cover up your embarrassment. It gave you honor instead of shame. You are not the person you once were. You are who I claim you are. What you did does not define you. What I did for you defines you. You are not imprisoned by your past. Your preparation comes from your past. You learned something from every mistake you made. Every setback you went through gave you something you needed. Every incorrect step you took brought you to the necessary realization. Your past does not taint your testimony. Your past strengthens your testimony. The very experiences that shame claims should disqualify you will give birth to the ministry that emerges from your life. The individuals you will assist will be particularly drawn to you, since you have experienced their situation and overcame their obstacles. Your qualifications will be your scars. Your challenges will become your assets. Your history will serve as a platform. When trust speaks, fear yields. Talk about honor rather than disgrace. Prioritize value over worthlessness. I am grateful that I gave you a fresh start. The bright future I envision for you and the new identity I have crafted for you. Your ministry of hope is going to emerge from your mountain of shame. Each mountain in your life fulfills the same function. You come to me because of it. When you would normally look about, mountains make you look up. When you might ordinarily try to trust, mountains demand it. When you would normally rely on sight, mountains require faith. Every mountain you encounter is a chance to discover my power in a different way. However, challenges are only transient residents of your life's terrain. They come to fulfill a mission for a season, and these barriers move when that goal is achieved. The challenge has fulfilled its role in your life. It has brought you to your knees in supplication. It has made you totally reliant on me. Every source of security has been taken away with the exception of myself. Your faith has been purified like gold in a furnace. Now that its task is finished and your breakthrough is due, this barrier has to shift. Power is about to demonstrate the trust that was built under duress. Victory is about to expose a character that was developed through adversity. Intimacy developed via conflict is going to be commemorated with success. Observe what transpires when you use the authority I have granted you to address this problem. See what occurs when you declare instead of doubt and command instead of pleading and anticipate instead of just hoping. Observe what occurs when you begin to move this obstacle instead of controlling it. See what happens when trust speaks and fear bows. When you speak with faith in the face of impossibility, it causes ripples in the spiritual realm that eventually transform into waves of change in the natural world domain. Angels move, situations change, resources flow, hearts open, bodies heal, relationships rebuild, dreams come true, goals become clear, and destinies develop. All because when faith speaks, fear yields. You are going to see God's power at work in your life in ways you have heard about but never seen, read about but never experienced, and believed in but never received. Your testimony will soon arise from your mountain. Your impossibility is going to turn into a miracle for you. You're about to make a comeback from your predicament. The mountain that has taken over your surroundings is going to vanish from your life, so thoroughly that others who are familiar with your story will find it difficult to describe what they saw. There will be a significant shift. The change is so total. Because faith spoke to this barrier, the breakthrough is so evident that anyone who witnesses it will know that God moved it. Do not forget this evening. Keep these words in mind. As you hear this message, keep in mind the sensation of faith rising in your spirit. When your barrier shifts and it will move, you will remember this as the turning point in your life. Because of who I am and what I do, not because of what you did. Your barrier breaking season begins now when faith speaks with my authority and encounters impossibility. The day has come for you to get your miracle. This is the time for your breakthrough. This obstacle in front of you is not as strong as your inner faith. The issue surrounding you is not as powerful as the power within you. Your own victory is more secure than the situations that seem to contradict it. When trust speaks, fear bows, and right now your obstacle, moving trust, is speaking. I want you to know something more about this moment and the impending breakthrough. You are not merely getting a miracle for yourself. You are entering a new generation. The mountain you are climbing is more than just a barrier. For many centuries, this mountain has been a part of your family, obstructing roots that ought to have been obvious, creating shadows when light ought to have been there, making constraints where abundance was my intention. Despite your grandmother's prayers, the mountain did not move. This load was held by your mother, but she was unable to break it. It's possible that your father battled this problem but was never set free. It ends with youth pattern that has been repeated in your family line, the constraint that has defined your background, the struggle that has defined your lineage. The generation that ends the cycle is you. Your obstacles movement affects more than just your life. It alters the course of each subsequent generation. What you went through, your kids won't go through. What you carried will not be borne by your grandkids. They inherit the strength you build throughout this season of smashing barriers. Their birthright is the freedom you are granted. Your triumph serves as their cornerstone. I am doing more than just mending you. Your ancestry is being healed by me. I am doing more than just delivering you. Your bloodline is being delivered by me. I am not merely releasing you. I am build your family tree. The breakthrough you are about to experience extends both forward to benefit the lives of those who will follow you, and backward to respect the prayers of those who came before you. Your faith will soon allow your forefathers who prayed but did not receive the solution to see their prayers answered. Because they are aware that their struggles were not in vain, the loved ones who came before you and dealt with similar problems are rejoicing in paradise. It was preparation for the day when their descendant would tell their mountain to move while standing in trust. This is the culmination of all the prayers said prior to your birth. The ground for this harvest has been nourished by every tear shed by your predecessors. Every conflict that your forebears engaged in helped pave the ground for this triumph. You are not only shifting your barrier, you are also shifting their mountain. The deliverance you are about to receive bears the burden of blessing for future generations. Your family tree is healed by the same healing that impacts your life. The wealth that comes your way builds a river that will sustain future generations. A new benchmark for love in your family is established by the healing that appears in your connections. You are a cycle stopper, a chain breaker, and a history maker. However, generational faith is necessary for this generational breakthrough. You must speak not only for yourself but also for those of your family members who are unable to do so. It calls for you to stand on the combined authority of all the believers in your lineage, not just your own. It calls for you to take control of the family mountain that has endured for too long in addition to your own. You are not praying alone when you talk to your obstacle and pray in the present. You are uniting your voice with the voices of all the virtuous ancestors in your lineage. You are upholding their beliefs, strengthening their base, and fulfilling their task. Their triumph is also your moment of bursting through barriers. Because he sees the promise in your blood, the enemy has chosen to target your family line. The deliberate attack on your ancestry was intended to stop the breakthrough. I had always intended to provide for you. Because the triumph I plan to provide you is important for everyone who is related to you as well as for you. The opposition you have encountered has been intense. However, the enemy's plan has backfired. The very assaults intended to ruin your family has set you up for an unheard of breakthrough. Your ancestry has been strengthened by the fights that were intended to diminish it. The mountains that were supposed to impede your advancement are now the platforms where the world will see your breakthrough. When trust speaks, fear yields. And when your faith speaks, it does so with the authority of all the generations that paved the road for this. The weight of their prayers is carried by your voice, the strength of their virtue, as well as their sacrifice. You are talking to more than one mountain. You are a generation addressing a mountain of generations, and that mountain needs to be moved. Your life is about to receive a favor that goes beyond personal favors. It is a generational favor that compensates for all of your family's hardships, missed opportunities, closed doors, and postponed dreams. The blessing you are receiving is so great that it will affect not simply you, but for generations to come. Everyone was related to you. Your kids will grow up in an environment of innovation rather than constraints. Instead of becoming resigned to suffering, they will start to expect triumph. Instead of fear that is overpowered by difficulties, they will inherit a tradition of trust that overcomes obstacles. Your metamorphosis serves as their cornerstone. Your triumph serves as their springboard. In your generation, the company that failed in your fathers will be successful. The marriage that had difficulties in the generation of your parents will prosper in yours. Your generation will overcome the health problems that afflicted your grandparents' generation. During your lifetime, the financial constraints that defined your family's past will be overcome. The generation you belong to is the one that transforms everything. However, generational responsibility follows generational breakthrough. This blessing is not being given to you merely for enjoyment. It is being given to you for stewardship. Your liberation is not the only reason you are being delivered. You are being delivered in order to assist in delivering others. Your breakthrough is not the only reason you are overcoming your problem. To demonstrate to others that mountains can be moved, you are relocating it. Your life's testimony will be powerful because it will symbolize more than just your own triumph. It will symbolize the change of generations. People won't only hear about one person's success when they hear your story. They will learn about the possibilities. When faith challenges family customs and demands that they alter, your miracle serves as a lesson to those families who have been constrained by generational boundaries. Your success serves as a call to action for other bloodlines that have been constrained by hereditary hardships. Your mountain relocating serves as evidence that things don't have to stay the same, that family curses have the potential to turn into blessings. It is possible for inherited issues to turn into inherited power. Because the impact of your breakthrough is greater than you can fathom, a larger platform is being created for you to comprehend. Your testimony will have an impact not just on those who know you personally, but also on those who will hear your story years from now and find hope for their own seemingly hopeless circumstances. The narrative of how God overcame your hurdle will be told to unborn children as they grow up, strengthening their faith before their mountains even exist. Young people who are going through similar challenges as you may find, strengthen your example that success is achievable even when this barrier appears to be immovable. Your mountain is more than just a challenge to be conquered. It is a task that needs to be finished. The hardships you have faced are more than a test to be overcome. It serves as a training ground for the ministry that will emerge from your life. The suffering you have endured is more than simply a burden. It is preparation for the role you are about to play. You'll see why it took so long when your obstacle shifts. There was no denial in the delay, it was progress. You had to be ready for more than just receiving breakthrough, but to make a breakthrough. You have to be prepared not only to overcome your own hurdle, but also to assist others in overcoming theirs. In addition to handling victory, you had to be mature enough to assist others in achieving their own success. It is a barrier, breaking anointing that will come into your life through both your presence and your prayers. People will be liberated simply by being in your presence because everyone you come into contact with will be impacted by the aura of breakthrough that permeates your existence. The confidence that if you overcome your difficulty, others will be motivated to overcome their mountains. Impossibilities will become possible in your home. Problems will turn into opportunities in your workplace. The manifestation of God's power at work in your life will change your community. Your very presence will serve as evidence that, for those who believe, God still accomplishes the seemingly impossible. But keep in mind that barrier-breaking anointing necessitates barrier-breaking accountability. The power I provide you to communicate with the responsibility to exercise that power sensibly comes with impossibilities. It is my duty to properly manage the power I release via your life. It is your responsibility to use the influence that results from your innovation in an ethical manner. You are going to be a ray of hope for those who have given up on the prospect of change, a lighthouse in a dark world. A living example of how God continues to overcome challenges for His children. The illumination that people will be guided out of their darkness, if you light through your life. Your tale will inspire hope in hearts that have given up. The story does not end with the miracle that is about to happen to you. The narrative is just getting started. Your graduation is not your breakthrough, it's your commission. You are not retiring from hardship by relocating mountains. You are now qualified to assist others in moving their mountains because of your elevation to a higher position of power. All of the knowledge you have acquired in your valley will help you reach the summit of your challenge. You will be empowered in strength by every ability you acquired in weakness. You will be able to assist others in navigating their own struggles, thanks to all the lessons you have learnt from your own. Every difficulty you overcome will give you the power to assist others in overcoming theirs. One day, someone confronting the same mountain as you will hear your narrative and have the guts to think that their mountain can also move. The evidence derived from your life will serve as their route map for success. They will be motivated to move their mountain by your faith, which helped you overcome your challenge. Your challenge had to be so large because of this. Small testimony are produced by small mountains. Weak faith results from easy successes. Deep character is not developed by rapid breakthroughs. However, insurmountable mountains that can only be moved by God's might produce testimony that encourage others to have hope in the impossibility of their own lives. Your mountain is going to shift, not simply help relieve you while inspiring hope in others. Your breakthrough is going to materialize, not just to address your issues but also to demonstrate to the world that God still moves barriers for those who trust Him. Your triumph will soon be shown for their motivation as much as for your celebration. When someone asks you how you overcame a barrier, you will respond that when trust speaks, fear gives way. When they inquire as to what caused the change, you will tell them that when the God who moves obstacles heard His child telling mountains to move, He could not help but respond to trust by refusing to accept impossibility as definitive. Your narrative will be included in the extensive compilation of inspirational testimonies that uplift faith in successive generations. Your discovery will be added to the list of miracles that demonstrate God's might is unrestricted by human comprehension or natural laws. Your mountain moving will serve as proof of what God accomplished. For other people, He will help anyone who has faith. Your barrier moving will have unanticipated repercussions on people's life. This is the heavenly side. Your breakthrough will inspire others with courage, which will inspire more breakthroughs, inspire more inspiration, build more trust, and move more mountains. Thousands of mountains move in lives all around the world as a result of your one mountain moving. This is the extent of the current events in your life. This is the importance of the as long as you are alive. This explains why the obstacle has been so enduring, the struggle has been so fierce, and the pressure has been so great. What is going to happen is greater than you, stronger than your situation, and more potent than anything that has ever opposed you. This word has marked the start of your barrier-breaking season, but it won't finish with one mountain being moved. You are about to embark on a lifetime of authority that breaks down barriers and turns obstacles into chances for your faith will demonstrate God's strength. You are entering a world where challenges will serve as platforms for innovation, and impediments will serve as opportunities for miracles. You won't be awed by mountains' size or overwhelmed by their permanence going forward. You will keep in mind that you are a mountain mover, a child of God who specializes in impossibilities, and a bearer of the trust that causes obstacles to move and fear to bow. You will communicate with your new mountains via the confidence that comes from seeing your first mountain move. When trust speaks, fear yields. And right now your obstacle, moving trust is speaking with authority that has been demonstrated by this impending barrier, fortified by struggle, and put to the proof by trial. Every mountain you encounter tomorrow will be overcome by the same faith that overcomes your current obstacle. It's more than just a breakthrough. You redeveloping into a breakthrough expert. Your mountain is in motion. Your breakthrough is coming to pass. This is your miracle. When trust speaks, fear yields, and right now the voice of victory is speaking through your faith. Amen. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it today, if it moved you and made you feel something profound. Someone in your life is currently staring at their own mountain and feeling overpowered by seemingly insurmountable obstacles. They must also understand that when trust talks, barriers are moved. Your choice to distribute this information could be the most something that alters their viewpoint and provides them the confidence to confront their mountain rather than being scared of it. To get this blessing and to proclaim that when trust speaks in your life, fear bows, type Amen in the comments.